For just $5 less than the cost of lunch, you can become a member of a credit union offering 12 months at 0% APR on purchases, personal loans up to $50,000, and a revolving line of credit up to $40,000. And the crazy part is that most people have never heard of it, while everyone else is applying at the same large banks and fighting over small credit limits. Qualified members are using Justice Federal Credit Union to access competitive credit cards, personal loans, auto financing, and flexible credit lines. But there is something you need to understand before you apply. Opening the account is the easy part. Getting approved for the best products and highest limits depends on what your credit report looks like when Justice Federal reviews it. So today, I'm breaking down Justice Federal Credit Union from top to bottom. How an ordinary civilian can qualify for membership. What credit cards and loans they currently offer. How to build a real banking relationship before applying. And why collections, charge-offs, late payments, high balances, and unnecessary hard inquiries can completely change your results. By the end of this video, you will know how to position yourself correctly before asking Justice Federal for credit. Let's get into it. Justice Federal Credit Union was founded in 1935 to serve people connected with the Department of Justice, law enforcement, and public safety. When most people hear that, they immediately assume, I can't join. I don't work for the government. But that is not necessarily true. Justice Federal allows people who support the justice, law enforcement, and public safety community to qualify through Concerns of Police Survivors, also known as COPS. When you join through this eligibility path, Justice Federal makes a $5 donation to COPS and shares the required contact details with the organization. You also need to place at least $5 into a share savings account to establish and maintain your membership. That $5 does not guarantee you a loan. It does not guarantee you a large credit card. But it gets you through the door. And once you become a member, you gain access to Justice Federal's deposit accounts, credit cards, personal loans, auto loans, credit builder products, and lines of credit. Now, when you establish your membership, I would not open the savings account and completely forget about it. I would consider opening a checking account as well. Fund the accounts. Use them. Set up direct deposit if it makes sense for you. Pay some regular expenses through the account. Let Justice Federal see normal, responsible banking activity. Relationship banking is not a secret trick that guarantees a $40,000 approval. But when a credit union has only known you for 5 minutes, it has less internal information about you than it has after several months of deposits, transactions, and responsible account management. A relationship can support a strong credit profile. It cannot hide a damaged one. Now let's talk about the credit cards, because this is where Justice Federal becomes interesting. Justice Federal currently offers products including the Visa Platinum Rewards, Visa Signature, Student Visa, and several affinity cards. New qualifying cardholders can receive a 0% introductory APR on purchases for the first 12 months. Balance transfers and cash advances currently receive a 2% introductory APR during that same 12-month period. After the introductory period, the Visa Platinum currently carries an 11.90% non-variable APR. The Visa Signature currently ranges from 14.4% to 18.0% variable APR, depending on the approved terms. Both cards currently have no annual fee. The Visa Signature also earns 5% cash back and includes no foreign transaction fee. But pay close attention to the details. The introductory offer generally does not apply if you have already had a Justice Federal credit card during the previous 3 years. The introductory offer also does not apply to the share-secured Visa. And the 2% introductory APR on balance transfers and cash advances does not mean those transactions are completely free. Justice Federal currently charges either 2% of the amount or $10, whichever is greater, with a maximum fee of $100. Interest on cash advances and balance transfers also begins when the transaction posts, even though the promotional APR may be only 2%. That distinction matters. A low promotional rate can be useful. But it is still debt. It still requires a payment plan. It still needs to be repaid before the promotional period ends. And it should never be treated like free money. Here is how someone might use the card responsibly. Maybe you have a planned large purchase and already know how you will repay it within 12 months. A 0% purchase offer could allow you to keep your emergency savings intact while paying the purchase down over a set schedule. Maybe you have higher interest credit card debt somewhere else. A low-rate balance transfer might lower the interest cost while you attack the principal. But moving debt is not the same as eliminating debt. If you transfer a balance and then run the original card back up again, you did not solve the problem. You doubled it. Now let's talk about the Justice line of credit. This is a revolving line of credit that can provide access to as much as $40,000 without requiring collateral. Unlike a traditional personal loan, you do not receive one fixed lump sum that you must begin paying interest on immediately. You draw only what you need. As you repay it, that available amount can become accessible again. Justice Federal presents it as an option for unexpected expenses, managing temporary cash flow gaps, major purchases, debt consolidation, education, or home-related costs. Then there is the personal loan. Justice Federal currently advertises personal loans up to $50,000 with terms as long as 84 months. These loans may be used for debt consolidation, major purchases, travel, or other personal expenses, but the longer term deserves attention. A lower monthly payment can feel attractive. However, stretching the loan across 7 years can increase the total interest paid. Never compare loans using the monthly payment alone. Compare the APR, the term, the total repayment amount, and any fees attached to the loan. Now, the original strategy you may hear online is that Justice Federal pulls Equifax and then reuses the same hard inquiry for additional products during a 90-day window. You may also hear that every personal credit card can reach a $40,000 limit. Those claims may come from individual member experiences. But Justice Federal's public pages and disclosures I reviewed do not promise that every additional application within 90 days will avoid another hard inquiry. They also do not publicly guarantee that every card applicant can receive a $40,000 limit. So do not build your entire strategy around an internet data point. Before submitting another application, ask Justice Federal directly, will this application require another hard credit inquiry? And get the answer before authorizing the review. Never assume one inquiry will cover 3 different products. Each product remains subject to approval. Your income, debt, credit history, recent applications, and requested amount will affect the outcome. Now let's talk about what actually separates the person who receives a small approval from the person who receives a strong one. It is not one secret phrase. It is the complete credit profile. 2 people can have the same score and receive completely different results. One person may have a 700 score with 10 years of clean payment history, low balances, stable income, and only one recent inquiry. Another person may have a 700 score created by a very thin credit file, several recently opened accounts, one old charge-off, and high balances that have not reported yet. Same score. different risk. That is why the number alone does not control the decision. Before applying, start with your credit utilization. Look at the balance on every credit card, not just the card you use the most. If you have a total credit limit of $20,000 and balances of $15,000, you are using 75% of your revolving credit. That can make it look like you are already dependent on the limits you have. Requesting another $20,000 or $40,000 in that position may appear risky. Bring the balances down first. Below 30% is better than being maxed out. Below 10% can present an even stronger picture. But do not focus only on total utilization. Look at each individual card. One card reporting at 95% can still damage the profile even when your total utilization looks lower. Next, review your payment history. A lender offering a large unsecured limit wants evidence that you pay your obligations as agreed. Recent late payments can seriously weaken that confidence. A 30-day late payment from 2 months ago will usually matter more than a late payment from 6 years ago. Do not apply for large amounts of credit while new damage is still appearing on your reports. Next, check for collections and charge-offs. An active collection can signal that another obligation went unpaid. A recent charge-off can make a lender question why it should extend thousands of dollars in new unsecured credit. But this is where credit repair needs to be explained correctly. Credit repair is not about disputing every accurate account because you do not like it. It is about checking whether the information on your report is accurate, complete, and actually belongs to you. Pull your reports from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Check the creditor name, the balance, the account status, the dates, the payment history, the ownership, and whether the same debt is being reported more than once. Look for accounts that are not yours. Wrong balances, duplicate collections, incorrect late payments, outdated personal information, unauthorized inquiries, or accounts that show conflicting information across the 3 bureaus. If something is genuinely inaccurate, incomplete, duplicated, outdated, or not yours, challenge it through the proper dispute process. If the negative information is accurate, do not create a false dispute. Build new positive history and deal with the obligation properly. Justice Federal also offers a credit builder loan for members trying to establish or rebuild credit. The current product has a maximum loan amount of $2,500 and a maximum term of 12 months. The proceeds are placed into a share account and held as collateral until the loan is repaid. That can be useful for someone who needs positive installment loan history, but it is not a substitute for correcting genuine errors or paying existing accounts on time. Now let's talk about hard inquiries. Do not submit several applications simply because a video tells you that all of them will use one inquiry. Before applying for anything, decide which product actually fits your goal. Do you need a credit card for planned purchases? Do you need a revolving line for occasional access? Do you need a fixed personal loan for debt consolidation? Or do you need to spend 6 months rebuilding before applying for any of them? Applying for every product just because it exists is not a strategy. It is credit chasing. And credit chasing can lead to several inquiries, new accounts, larger monthly obligations, and more opportunities to create debt. Start with the product that gives you the most value. Then confirm directly with Justice Federal whether a second application will require another credit pull. Now, income also matters. If you request a large credit limit or loan, be prepared to verify your income. Report only legitimate income that you are permitted to include and that is reasonably available to repay the debt. Do not inflate your income because you think it will unlock a bigger approval. False information on a credit application can create much larger problems than a denial. Justice Federal is trying to answer a simple question: if this person uses the credit, can they realistically repay it? A clean score with low income may still produce a smaller approval. A high income with damaged credit may still produce a denial. The strongest position combines stable income, manageable debt, low utilization, clean recent payment history, and an established banking relationship. Now let's create a practical Justice Federal strategy. Step 1. Check whether you qualify through employment, family, uneligible association, NARF, or the SCRP supporter pathway. Step 2. Establish membership with the required $5 share savings deposit. Step 3. Consider opening both savings and checking accounts. Step 4. Fund the accounts and use them normally. Set up direct deposit if it genuinely fits your financial system. Step 5. Pull all 3 credit reports before applying for credit. Step 6. Correct genuine errors in review collections, charge-offs, late payments, inquiries, and high revolving balances. Step 7. Bring credit card utilization down. Step 8. Stop submitting unnecessary applications. Step 9. Choose the Justice Federal product that actually matches your goal. Step 10. Confirm the current terms, promotional rates, fees, and whether the application will require a hard credit inquiry. Step 11. Apply only when your income, debt, and report support the amount you are requesting. Step 12. If you receive a denial, read the adverse action notice before applying again. That notice can tell you what needs to change. Maybe the balances are too high. Maybe the recent late payments are too damaging. Maybe the income does not support the requested amount. Maybe there are too many recent accounts. Maybe the credit history is too short. Fix the stated problem before submitting another application. Do not respond to a denial by immediately applying for 2 more products. That usually makes the profile worse. And here is the biggest lesson. Justice Federal Credit Union may offer excellent products, but the institution does not create your approval power. Your credit profile does. The $5 gets you membership. It does not get you $40,000. The 0% offer can lower interest. It does not eliminate the balance. The line of credit can provide flexibility. It does not create income. And the personal loan can consolidate debt. It does not fix the habits that created the debt. Everything begins with the report you bring into the application. A person with low utilization, clean recent history, stable income, and no unresolved credit report errors walks into Justice Federal differently from someone with maxed out cards, active collections, recent charge-offs, and 15 inquiries. That difference can affect the approval, the limit, the APR, the loan amount, and whether the answer is yes or no. So do not rush to apply because the numbers in a thumbnail look exciting. Pull your credit first. Repair genuine reporting problems. Pay balances down. Build positive history. Create a real relationship. Then apply from a position of strength. Because the real opportunity is not gaining access to 6 figures in debt. The real opportunity is building a credit profile strong enough that banks and credit unions compete for your business, and being disciplined enough not to borrow money you cannot repay.